If you have been feeling stressed, believe me, you're not alone. Thing is that life can be very difficult sometimes and it can pile up so many things that it becomes so challenging for us to get out of the stress. And also, trust me, no one is immune to it. I as a doctor also have to go through a lot of stresses. But the thing is that managing stress isn't that complicated at all. So in this video, I will tell you some science-backed techniques that I use personally to relieve stress. And before we discuss these techniques, let's dig in what really stress is and why does stress make us go out of control. So stress can happen due to anything. It could be a physical trauma, a mental trauma. Your brain sends signals to one of the panic buttons in your brain that is called Mr. Amygdala. Amygdala in your brain sends signals to hypothalamus in your brain, which then sends signals to one of those tiny glands that are situated above your kidneys, and these are the ones which will secrete a lot of stress hormones. These stress hormones are called cortisol and adrenaline. And don't get me wrong here, stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline are actually very good for you in situations of emergency or when you need to react, but they are good in smaller amounts. So what happens is, when this stress hormone starts accumulating in your body, this is when things get really tricky. According to various researchers and the research from Harvard University, linked elevated levels of cortisol and stress to a lot of health problems such as high blood pressure, weakened immune system, high heart rate, sleep disturbances, and various other health problems. So let's dive into different stress busters now. The thing is that you really wouldn't notice, once you get stressed out, your breathing gets really shallow and also gets a bit faster. You've probably heard people saying, just take a deep breath. And I'm sick of people not explaining why. A research from Stanford University suggested that when we start taking a deep breath in, what happens is, because we are also breathing slowly now, the brain gets a signal that we need to relax. And in turn, it activates the parasympathetic system, which lowers down or reduces the stress chemicals. We just need to take a deep breath in for 4 seconds, then pause it for 4 seconds before exhaling for 4 seconds. And these seconds should be in your mind. What it does is that it is distracting you from the stress and you are focusing on your breathing, which makes you quite relaxed. And now you can focus on your task quite easily. So number 2 technique is a technique which I'm really bad at. The thing is that you can actually release some happy or feel-good chemicals from your brain into your body, which will reduce your stress levels. And yes, you guessed it right, it is exercise. But don't worry, you don't have to run a marathon. Even walking, brisk walking, dancing is more than enough to release some feel-good chemicals into your body. You can start from just 10 to 15 minutes of walk, brisk walk or something else, or some stretches every day, and then with time you can go to 30 minutes. You don't have to do it daily. You can do it just 2 or 3 times a week because you need to be consistent. And as the time passes and you think you're becoming consistent, more disciplined, then you can do it every day if you want to. And the best thing is that it's absolutely free. Number 3 technique is a technique that I personally use in the morning and also in the evening. This will really surprise you, and it is called gratitude. So counting your blessing every morning and every night is a huge thing. A study suggested that practicing gratitude regularly would lower your stress chemicals and have an overall positive effect. So how I practice it is by writing 3 gratitudes in the morning and 3 gratitudes in the evening, and they can be repeated sometimes. That's absolutely fine. You can write something you're really grateful for, and even on a very stressful day, these small gratitudes can really change your perspective and make you feel more positive. Number 4 is one of my favorites. I practice this when I'm having a very busy on-call. So this technique is called the 5-4-3-2-1 method. And I'll tell you how it's done and what it is. This is also called grounding technique. According to the American Psychology Association, practicing grounding technique can shift the attention to your physical sensation, which will reduce anxiety and the stress overall. How it works is that you look around and notice 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. By focusing on your surroundings, you signal to your brain that you're safe, which helps reduce the stress chemicals and calm your body. I don't know, but I really like this technique. Try it. Believe me, it does work. Lastly, let's talk about something which I was absolutely poor at until this year, when I realized this was the biggest factor which can cause stress. Yes, of course, it's sleep. Sleep is my worst enemy. So sleep deprivation can cause elevated levels of cortisol or stress hormone, which will in turn make it difficult to recover from any stress. Getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep is very crucial for anyone to get out of stress, to recover and have an overall healthy well-being. And to be honest with you, we all should know that this is the best mechanism that our body has. Sleep just resets everything. Once you sleep, you get up, you're absolutely fine, you're refreshed. I really hope you found this video helpful and you can use these techniques to relieve your stress, because I'm going to go right now and relieve my stress after making this video. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, please. See, I'm good with catch.